Let's start time of the month where we get you the deal tracker from Grant Thornton. Deal momentum for the month of February continues to remain fairly positive. There were 102 deals in total in M&A and private equity worth about $3.2 billion, which was 66% higher than the same period last year. Now, will the deal momentum continue to be positive, and which sectors will remain in focus? Joining in now to answer all these questions, we have with us Pankaj Chopda, the director at Grant Thornton India. Hi, Pankaj. Thanks for joining in. My first question to you, by the looks of the numbers and the figures that you have pointed out in the report, it seems like startup seems to be dominating, followed very closely by e-commerce. BFSI also seems to be inching up. So what sectors do you think will dominate in the months to come?
So, hi Kritika. I think you're right on that. The deal activity for IT, ITES and e-commerce have kind of revived, and you see some large big ticket items. On the M&A front, primarily it is the BFSI and the BFSI segment, which has seen BFSI and ITES segment, which have seen deals happening, and this is probably going to continue. Similarly, on the PE side, it's the startups and the e-commerce transactions, wherein there is follow-up funding which is happening and which is going to kind of keep the deal trend alive.
You have indicated in your report as well, Pankaj, that the IBC transactions should increase momentum. But, you know, with the lack of clarity, with the confusion over litigation, are you actually expecting resolutions around the corner? And if yes, when? Would it be by the end of this quarter?
There would be definitely, there are some more things which needs to be clarified, and end of this quarter would be too soon resolution for all of these things. But then we should see the first quarter of the second quarter of 2018 to see many of these transactions concluding.
Okay, I want to ask you about the valuation as well, Pankaj, in BFSI specifically. Are you seeing an uptick in valuation? Because, you know, they had plateaued at some point. There was some talk that by around end of this particular fiscal, we should see some clarity. So are valuations in BFSI specifically inching up, and will that lead to increased activity in the next few months?
It's primarily the importance of technology in the BFSI segment, and the whole BFSI segment being an integrated or a key area wherein transactions are happening between consumers and the companies, and hence we do definitely see the valuations going up, and it will continue.
Okay, since
the transactions in this sector will continue.
Since we're talking about valuations, Pankaj, ITES seems to be the highest in terms of value with about $749 million, followed closely by BFSI and e-commerce. So purely from a valuation perspective, is IT going to be dominating the game for the next few quarters, or is that just a monthly blip here?
So ITES, if you see primarily in the current month, the transaction between KPIT and Birlasoft, that has been the key transaction wherein a merger has happened, and that has primarily kind of showing a higher value in the ITES sector. But ITES as a sector will continue to be the focus for transactions.
Okay, any surprise sectors that you're seeing? I mean, I see a little bit on the manufacturing front, but that's just $38 million. Any surprise sectors specifically with respect to the stressed areas like power or steel that we are expecting to see increased activity in?
So the old economy companies, primarily the brick and mortar companies, which is power or cement companies, there could be again primarily driving by the Insolvency and the Bankruptcy Act. So you could see some transactions out there.
Right.
That's how we see it.
How about retail, Pankaj? Because retail, you know, about 2-3 months ago, we were talking about how retail is also going to be one of the triggers in this year. But we haven't seen many transactions. Is that slowing down?
It wouldn't slow down. It's, I think, primarily with retail, again, there are transactions which are underway, but then there is the clarity with respect to some of the policies with FDI and more of those things. So once those are clarified, I think you would again see some traction there.
Okay, thank you so much, Pankaj. And as always, of course, appreciate you joining in every month to give us a check on the M&A health checkup. But